Welcome to the Riot podcast for Thursday, February 17th.
What are you standing for?
Just
felt like it?
I gotta loosen up. Been sitting for a while.
Does it still hurt when you stretch?
Does it hurt? No, it's just, I don't know. You ever feel just all tightened up? I don't know. Maybe it's the weather. You know,
Sure.
I feel it in my bones and my joints.
Yesterday,
all this rain.
Every time he would stretch or move around, like we were just, there's noises.
Yeah.
It wasn't just stretching. It was just like, what else is going on? Well, hello, Isaiah.
Howdy.
What was your favorite part of the show today?
I had a couple of different favorite parts. One of the parts that I liked that just reminded me of something that I've recently done in my life, which was try a new food. As we talked about how there's a new trendy food option in Scotland that I have never tried.
Would you eat squirrel?
I would try squirrel.
You try it?
Like similar to Hudson says, like if it's a meat, he would try it.
Yeah.
I'm in a similar spot in that. If it's a meat, I think I would try it, which is why the other night for the first time, I tried lobster.
You did?
Ooh,
that's
good.
good.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
You know,
Oh, it was
lobster
good.
used to be for like really cheap and like for prisoners.
Really?
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
Like it was just like bottom feeder
Well, it isn't
food.
very cheap anymore.
It's not cheap anymore. And man, I love lobster.
Yeah,
That's
it was good.
great.
I was a little bit nervous because they were like, it's kind of fishy. I was like, well, I like fish.
Not when
and
you put
stuff.
butter on it.
Yeah, and it was good. It was very good.
Yeah. Was it? It was just straight up lobster.
It
or-
was lobster, and I was at an Italian restaurant, and it was lobster inside of a one of those little thingies, you know what I'm saying?
Ravioli?
Ravioli, yeah.
there you
wait.
go.
That doesn't count.
Yes, it does count.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
does.
does.
It
I
does
think it
not.
counts. It
No,
can-
you need
but-
lobster on its own.
I mean, I
try
would
a
try
nice,
it straight up. I
uh,
like that, so I assume I would like that.
A nice New
Right up.
England lobster roll.
Oh,
Although that's mayo, so I don't know. But
Haven't tried that.
I almost talked Isaiah into trying mayo the other day.
well, I
He's
don't
getting
like
close.
He
mayo.
talks about how it's some delicacy.
No.
It is. It
It
is.
just looks like you got an infection, and that's what came out.
He said it's like
then
the
you put
greatest
it in a
condiment.
And you're okay with
sandwich.
eating lobster? Have you ever seen what they look like?
Oh, I know it's awful, but yet with drawn butter, suddenly my convictions and my concerns go out the door.
I think you've got to. I don't know why you're harboring this against mayo.
I don't like mayo.
That's good though.
On for what?
I mean, tell me
Are you
something
just
to
said
make.
saying?
anything.
Are you
He
just
said
saying on
anything.
I said
sandwiches?
sandwiches. I think burgers is where mayo shines. But I mean, obviously grilled cheese we've talked about. But I mean, there's all kinds of places where you can put mayo and it'll do good for you.
I don't mind mayo. Like, what's the mayo chip? Like, if it's added with ketchup.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But I hate when you go to a place and you're like, no mayo. Looking at you, Wendy's, if I get the chicken sandwich, and then they're like, here, let me just put the whole thing on it, and it's all
Lather it on
mayo,
there,
and
yeah.
it slithers out, and it's
Yeah.
all
Ooh.
over you. It's just gross.
I
Yeah.
can't believe you guys
What?
and your anti-mayo stance.
Yeah.
I am similar, and if I'm doing like a burger or something, I will never let the sauce be on it. I will always get it on the side.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
add
if
what
they-
you want.
If they lather it on there, it just ruins everything. Doesn't matter if I like the sauce or not; it'll just ruin it.
Too
Well,
much
we
sauce.
are pro lobster, so that's at least
Yeah.
one thing we're good for.
That's for sure.
Yeah, so you can hear us talk a little bit about squirrels becoming a more trendy food item. We
Oh,
also
that'd be a weird surf and turf, squirrel and lobster.
squirrel and lobster. But we also talked about our pets a little bit and how we see ourselves as pet parents. And another thing that I thought about, like in this, is like if you have like a child, everyone says like, oh yeah, your kid is like a reflection of you.
Oh, that's the worst.
Is your animal?
Yeah, reflection.
Yeah, it
reflection of
totally
you.
is.
But no, some of it's like overbreeding of the dog. So like
Yeah.
sometimes your dog can have problems based on its history and its makeup and stuff. So you can't be blamed. I can't be blamed. My dog won't stop barking. It was made to bark. It was made
Yes.
to hunt, and I just have it inside and it's just sitting on the couch. Like
Yeah.
it's doing its thing, its job.
But maybe that's your fault.
For
Maybe
not
you
letting
should've-
it outside,
maybe,
they'll bark out
maybe
there.
if you for this dog, you need to let it do what it's in its nature, which is go out and bark.
Oh my gosh, we're connecting. I'll take it out to go out and hunt squirrels.
There you go.
Squirrels, there it
Perfect.
is.
And then you can sell them as a delicacy in Scotland.
Yes.
Yeah,
And if we
perfect.
were only close enough, he could swim for lobsters.
But yeah, so I think that if Jim is considered a reflection of me, then that is just such a bad
Oh
reflection.
yeah, you're in trouble.
It's a terrible reflection.
You're in
No, it's
trouble.
basset hound problems.
Yes, 100%.
You know? Yeah, it's
I
not you.
nurture that little boy like nothing else, and he just shows me no no attention in return. Actually, he shows me too much attention in return, and he just acts so terribly.
Just no respect in return.
There's no respect. There's not a mutual respect. There's he's like my son that like despises me, I think, a little bit, but also loves me at the same time. But yeah, we talked about that. We also talked about at the end, possibly the flirtiest AI voice you've ever heard.
That's right. It's amazing technology. It's amazing what they can do, but still, maybe it's just the fault of the researchers, the scientists behind it that
they don't know what flirting is.
They don't know what flirting is.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Somebody texted in that said the voice sounded like it was just about to deliver bad news to you, and that's what I was thinking too. It just sounds like Nikki, you say it's something with the music, and I think that doesn't help. But there's just something about the voice. Like, they want it to sound flirty. It really sounds like it's about to deliver a real gut punch to you.
Wow,
like it's about to break up with you or something.
That's what we're expecting with anytime anybody talks to us.
So, yeah, right.
Maybe those scientists just haven't been flirted with in a while.
Probably.
They need to know. Well, enjoy the podcast today. Tomorrow, we're going to have the hot honey Wendy's chicken biscuit sandwich.
Ooh,
we're going to introduce you to a brand new artist, Jimmy Rock, as well. So we'll be ready for Friday.
Pulling out all the stops for Nikki's birthday show.
See you guys.
Catch you next time.
Welcome to The Riot, where you listen to us and that's it. It's pretty much a one-way street. The Riot. RadioU.
I've got a new food trend for you in 2022. Not sure if it's going to make its way to the United States.
But maybe.
But it's already becoming a trend in Scotland, where they are getting really into, and we're talking like high-profile chefs in Scotland, getting really into cooking squirrel.
Oh.
What? Do you feel bad for the squirrel?
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that one.
Why not? They're an invasive species. They say it's ethical dining because they're an invasive species, so it's actually good for the environment.
I know, but it's a squirrel.
So what? You think they're cute?
They're just around so much.
Uh-huh.
And, I'm one of those people where you're like, well, then what are you eating cow for? What are you eating chicken for? I don't have those in my yard. I don't see the moo cow every day.
Uh-huh.
But squirrels I do.
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't?
At least that part of it.
Well, they're saying that, yes, it's the one from here, the squirrels from here.
North American gray squirrels primarily.
They take over, and they are an invasive species, so you are allowed to hunt squirrels. They were talking about, like, in New York, it is squirrel season until the 28th, so you have until next week.
Does that mean do you have to go on a squirrel hunting trip? Or can you just do it from your porch if you want?
I think you can just get squirrels. And
I can't imagine people like in New York City and they're just popping off, shooting the squirrels or whatever.
Well, it's gray, black, and fox squirrels, and you're limited to, that's a terrible way to put it, 6 squirrel bodies a day.
Oh, wow.
And
you have to check those in somewhere?
I think you do, and you're limited to the method that you're allowed to kill them. So yeah, there are some rules with them, but it is very popular to hunt squirrels.
Wow, that is
and now you can cook with them too.
Yeah, now you can put that meat to good use. I know
it's very similar to what else could you swap it with?
Rabbit. They said rabbit.
If you have rabbit,
which I've also never eaten,
which we also don't have.
Yeah, right.
That you could just switch out it for a recipe with squirrel.
So you wouldn't even try it?
No, I wouldn't.
I would try it.
I wouldn't try rabbit either.
I'd try any meat.
You would?
Oh, I find that fun.
Head on outside.
Yeah, right. Well,
there's all the squirrels
I don't know
out
if
there.
I can deal with hunting and then cooking it.
You sure?
But if somebody cooks it up for me, I will taste it.
You want a new breakfast sandwich?
I have a friend that back in Maryland, very redneck, that would cook squirrel, and apparently it was fine. But that idea to me always made it seem like that's like that it wouldn't be a delicacy.
Sure.
It wouldn't be something a high-end chef would be making. It's it's when you're a little destitute and you don't have a lot of other options.
That's
you can't even
not
afford
how
a
it
ground
is.
beef and chicken.
It
then you're
is-
going with the squirrel that you catch.
It's your friend was ahead of time.
Yeah, he was.
It is the new thing to eat. It is the popular thing to eat. If you want to help the environment, they're saying you should be eating squirrel.
I do have a bit of reservation about following a food trend started by Scotland where they eat haggis.
True, that's a hearty thing.
Yeah.
That's a unique take on a meal.
I'm taking the squirrel trend with a grain of salt since it's starting there.
They say that, let's see, anyone who's doing rabbit could just swap in squirrel. So I think they eat differently than just we do anyways.
Yeah.
But squirrels, it has to be this particular type of them. And those squirrels are everywhere, so they tend to take out other species when they move in.
Yeah.
And so that's why they say it's environmental to start eating the gray squirrel.
I was just thinking, I wonder what you cook with the squirrel, Is it acorns? You
yes,
roast those too or something? Yeah.
The squirrel's like, ooh, it's me too.
Yeah.
I'm getting eaten too.
You kill the squirrel and steal its stash.
Yeah, that's the worst.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So Disney, did you see this announcement yesterday?
What are they doing?
The Disney Story Living Communities.
Is this more about Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers?
Yeah, right. No, this isn't quite that fun, I don't think.
Okay, this is something else.
This is Disney Story Living, where you will be able to live in a Disney community, like permanently.
Yeah, like a neighborhood?
Like a Disney neighborhood.
Have you not seen the house ones that they have?
The house ones?
There's like really expensive houses you can live at for Disney communities.
Uh-huh.
And they put like hidden Mickeys and stuff.
I have not seen that.
It's all like Disney.
I have not. I didn't know that they did that.
So this looks more like everyday living in case you don't want to live in the expensive home.
This is, this is meant to be different options for everybody. They say there's a specific area in the first community for people over the age of 55. Like they'll get their own space. And then there's going to, just going to be a broad range of options, whether you want to have a whole house or a condo or whatever it may be. So trying to get in on the different price ranges and appeal to different people. But this is, it's going to be like, it sounds like, have you ever seen the Disney resorts?
Yes, it'll be like that.
Yeah, that don't necessarily, like I was watching about one in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Doesn't, like if you go there, it doesn't seem to have a lot to do, although they do brand it with Disney a little bit, but it's not like the Disney parks.
Sure.
But it's still run by Disney. And still, like, from what I've seen, those resorts look really nice. You know that Disney's going to run things well, it seems like.
Do you?
But you pay a premium for that, for sure.
Okay, so this is, I guess I didn't catch at first that the Story Living by Disney, it's not like near Orlando or near Anaheim.
Right.
Instead, these are just in various places. So like this one is near Palm Springs, or you were saying Hilton Head. So it is kind of like you can live at a Disney resort.
Yeah, so the first one is, what is that? Rancho Mirage, California.
Yeah, Palm Springs.
And so you can just let Disney really run your life, because I guess Disney was thinking, they're just thinking that they don't make enough money off of you with the Disney Plus subscription every month and all the money that you just give them for all the other stuff. So why don't they charge you thousands and thousands of dollars every month, and then they can really make some money off
I guess then you're living at a resort. Maybe you'll get free Disney Plus. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
That's
right.
just
That might be included. It might be in the bundle.
But they say that, some of this goes back to Walt Disney's original idea. Like if you go to Epcot, the communities, the planned communities, kind of similar to that.
Yeah, like they don't no longer own Celebration Florida, but that was a town that was actually built by Disney. So similar thought process. I don't know about you, though. I just think that I even have a hard time believing that Walt Disney's intentions back in the day were really pure. And now that he's not involved at all because he's dead, that, just the business people behind this idea.
Sure.
As much as, I'm of two minds, because I've seen the Disney resorts and stuff, and I've been to Disney World, and like it's all so
planned.
Well kept. And that's what you want out of where you live. But then again, it's almost like, is it too perfect?
Well, here, I'll tell you what. Don't worry about it, because how often can we afford to go to Disney on its own, let alone live in a Disney planned resort?
Well, we're not going to pick up the station and move it to Rancho Mirage, California.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Good morning, Isaiah.
Good morning.
I thought you'd be a good person to bring in for this debate.
A very good person.
Yeah.
Clearly.
One, this is the debate as old as time. whether you allow people to wear shoes in your house
Sure.
if they are coming over, or I guess vice versa, if you feel comfortable wearing your shoes or not in somebody else's house. And it's a long-standing debate, but it's been reignited because the Wall Street Journal and The Guardian have gone back and forth about it. And I thought, Isaiah, you'd be good to weigh in because, one, you have more friends, it seems, than Nikki or I. So people are coming over to your house more often.
Oh, why'd you have to say it that way? It's true. But
It is
why'd you
true.
have to say it
I'm
that
sure
way?
we have the same amount of friends.
No.
You definitely have more people coming over.
That might be true.
And then also, I don't know why, but I think that the fact that you're wearing slippers just out also gives you an interesting
here.
angle you can give us here.
So wait,
Well, they're comfy.
You're wearing slippers, and I know you said that yesterday, but I didn't catch, like, you're wearing slippers each day. Is it because your shoes are being cleaned?
Yes, my shoes are currently being cleaned, so I decided that's fine. Just take them all, clean them all, and then I'll just wear slippers every day. Because I have, like, my workout shoes that I'll wear to the gym.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't really do anything.
So
So,
you're wearing your slippers from your car into the building?
yeah.
So your slippers are now your outdoor shoes?
Well, they're like a mix, once I get all my shoes back, they will yet again be just indoor shoes. But they have like good bottoms on them. You can see like the
Yeah, I see
bottoms
that.
on like super soft.
Sure.
So they're all terrain.
They look pretty
Now-
grippy.
Yeah.
Do you want to say where your shoes are?
Yeah, my shoes are being washed. My mom's washing my shoes. She volunteered, kind of.
That means
I
they
just
must have
want
been in a
them-
bad
That's my
state.
favorite
They were in
part.
a bad situation, and your
I-
mom is just like, "Do you want me to wash your shoes?"
Listen, she does a way better job. I've washed my shoes before, but she just does a way better job.
Don't you just put them in the washing machine?
Yes, I know it seems so simple. It does, but for whatever reason, she's just a lot better at it. Like I can't never get them to actually be clean. My white shoes will never actually look white, but she's just so good at it. And
Everybody, we love our moms because your moms are just like, can I make your doctor's appointment and wash your shoes?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
can we just fix everything you're not doing?
No, you're going to be in a bad situation. It's supposed to rain today.
that'll be okay. I'm not
you're
outside
gonna have
very
soggy-
much.
Then he just gives his slippers to his mom and she'll wash
Wash those.
Dry them out.
It's fine.
You're going to have soggy slippers when you leave work
I'm
today.
only outside for like 30 seconds. I'll be okay.
They'll get soggy, and then you have to drive home in them.
I'll take my shoes off in the car.
Gonna be rough.
Listen, he
It's
has
good.
it.
He's got a
fixed.
plan.
He
Yeah, I
has
have a plan. I'll be okay.
So when you have all of your friends over, do you let them wear your shoes in your house?
I do, yeah.
You do?
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't personally wear my shoes in like around my house.
Yeah.
But if they come over, I'm not one of those guys that's like, stop at the door, take your shoes off, because I already have Jim in the house and he's already
Yeah.
so dirty. I have all wood floors too, so it's like really easy to clean the floors, and I'm cleaning them frequently anyway. Yet again, circle back, Jim makes the floor very dirty. So when my friends come over, usually they do take them off just as a courtesy thing.
Yeah.
And when I go to someone's house, I also
Take
take
'em
them
off,
off.
yeah.
Even though I hate doing that. I hate taking my shoes off
Really?
when I go inside. Oh, I hate it.
Why is that?
Because I'm kind of like short, so the shoes give me that extra boost you need,
I thought you were embarrassed about your feet.
So barefoot Isaiah is like a little bit shorter than regular Isaiah.
He's
you
not
know?
into that.
No.
What about you, Nikki?
I usually take my shoes off.
You do?
Yeah, I don't like, because if you have carpet anywhere,
Yeah.
I also have dogs too, so it's like, what?
Yeah,
Pile
right.
on.
What's the
Just-
point?
Yeah.
What's the point with it? But it's just something you remember from when you were younger, and I think I recall being told, we take our shoes off.
Yeah. See, it's always been just not a big deal of a thing. But
But it depends too on like your culture and stuff with growing. Because
Yeah.
some places it is a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some
and
people
you do take them off.
I have some friends, and it's not a cultural thing. It's just like they actually would stop you and be like, "You got to take those shoes off
They're not
before you
coming
come
Get
in
those
the
things
house."
off of you.
But they also had no kids and no pets, so it's like their carpets are actually clean. Where in my house, with a dog and with it's mostly hardwood floors and stuff. So what is shoe gonna do to it? But. That's what I can't imagine though, is being the type of person that's gonna stop somebody and say,
oh no,
hold on,
There's plenty of people.
you don't step any foot further until you take those shoes off.
You know who we need to ask?
Who's that?
Isaiah's mom.
Yeah.
Ask your mom.
She
Hey, the
obviously
shoes were
cares about
piled up
clean
by the door.
shoes,
They're
yeah.
piled up by the door.
She obviously was so upset about how dirty your shoes were getting that
Yes.
to go and wash them. That there must be something.
I was thinking, I'm a solutions-oriented guy. How about if you really care about people wearing shoes in your house, just as a backup plan, you get those things that, like the plumbers and the
the
electrician.
wraparound
yeah,
things?
those
Yeah.
little.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, right.
If not, you are supposed to provide slippers. So you're supposed to have like
There
guest
you go.
slippers and stuff in your
Yeah.
house. But yeah, that's a great idea too.
Yeah. Okay, one last question.
Yeah.
And we'll make it quick. do you feel comfortable taking your socks off at other people's house? You wouldn't do that?
No, let's keep something on.
See,
no chance.
I don't like just wearing socks. And then if the floor is dirty, then your socks get dirty.
Dude, Hudson, if you show up at my house and you take your socks off, you will never be invited again. You will never be invited again.
If you go over and it's not like sock season, because in the summertime and stuff, I don't wear socks.
Yeah, right.
So you just gotta have to plan accordingly.
It does feel weird, doesn't it?
It does.
But also, I don't like wearing only socks. But I also don't. I'm embarrassed of my feet. I got weird toenails. I don't want people seeing them.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
We all have dogs here in this room. Not the dogs aren't in this room, but all of us in this room have dogs.
If it was,
that'd be a lot.
It'd be a party.
Actually, you guys would absolutely hear that if it was.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's 100% for sure. But I'm curious, you guys. I've been thinking, as dog. Well, that's actually the question.
We're not their owners. We're their helpers and keepers or whatever.
Would you say, Nikki, that you're a dog mom? And Isaiah, would you say you're a dog dad?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I would say so, yes.
And you're just comfortable doing that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
But you're why?
Because
why are you fine with that?
Because they're just the little people.
Are they
the
your
little
children?
things in our house.
Does that make a dog your child?
I also humanize my pets more than maybe the average person, and they're not. I treat them probably better than myself.
Well, I know you keep them all medicated, stuff. So
I would say if I'm not Jim's dad, then I don't know what our relationship is. Like, then what am I?
You take
just
care
his
of
buddy?
him.
We're just friends. I would never treat a friend that way. I would never feed a friend. I would never pay so much money for my friend.
Do you think that that's weird compared to like a dog owner?
This is what I was thinking, because I know, so I didn't have a dog until a few years ago. Like, growing up, I never had a dog. And I always thought if somebody did refer to themselves as like a dog parent, a pet parent, I was like, that's crazy.
Oh, no, not since the COVID stuff.
Pandemic? You think that's what changed things?
Now we're all pet parents.
But so when me and my wife got our dog, and she just went into like, it was just like, I'm the dog dad, she's the dog mom. And so I wasn't comfortable with it at first, but now I just don't know what else you would call yourself, because you're right. It's definitely not your friend. And the other options, the owner and master, both feel really outdated and wrong. And
Hudson's like, I'm your master. I don't go by dad. I go by master.
That would imply that the dog actually like listens to you, which ours don't. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what else, but I know there are people out there who held on to their initial belief, like I did, of pet parent. What's wrong with you? And so, what do you call yourself if you have a dog or any pet, and you don't call yourself like their parents? What are you to them?
You're doggy, or you're the mom and the dad.
Yeah, you have to be the mom and dad, because
you're their mom.
Looking at it the other way too, like, do you refer to your dog as your son or your daughter?
No, absolutely not.
You don't
that's
say that.
Weird. That's why I think it's weird to say that I'm a dog dad, because Zafira the dog is not my daughter. I would never say that. And like, it's weird, but people would think you're crazier for saying that than saying that you're the dog parent.
I don't know. I sometimes I refer to Jim as my son, of course.
But jokingly?
And it's
I'll
also
call him
hard
like
because Jim has a human name too. Though.
Yes, I know.
Tough.
So he's my son, my little prince, my little man. That's what I call him. Those are all nicknames that I have for Jim.
Your little
You really
pooper.
do sound like a dad.
He's my little prince. He's the up and coming one.
Well, that's why he thinks he has complete control over you.
Yes, exactly. A friend. Me and Jim are not friends, because a friend would never. I would never be able to sustain a relationship with someone like that who's my friend. I have to have some sort of blood connection with them to be able to put up with them forever.
Withstand all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I wrestled with it. I still wrestle with it, because I don't really want to be a dog dad.
Well, how many times are people asking you?
That's a good point.
Or how often are you having to say it?
Just on the show, I guess.
Do you refer to yourself like when you're at the house, like Daddy's talking to you? Like, what do you do that at the house or no?
Well, if I'm making my dog talk to me, or if I'm doing a dog voice and it's like, Daddy, why won't you let me outside? Stuff like that. So I guess what else would my dog call me? I guess it's not like my dog would say. would refer to me as owner,
Sure.
or refer to me as master, even though if you watch The Brave Little Toaster, it's not pets, but they're objects, and they refer to their master as master. So that's the best comparison I could come up with.
Let's say it this way. So yesterday, Rolo, my dog, had to go get groomed.
Yeah.
I paid for it. It's more money, pretty close to like what my own hair costs to do.
Yes.
Right.
And I had to medicate him the day before and the morning before. So I'm paying for pills for this guy to go
my
get
gosh.
his back. And then when it was time, they had to call me to come pick him up. I had to ask how he did and get a report on him.
Did he behave? Was he good?
Yeah, it's like I had to get a rundown. So you better believe I feel like I'm his doggy parent.
Yeah. The more we talk about all of our dogs, just like, why do we even have them?
This is The Riot. RadioU.
Football season is over, but it doesn't mean we can't keep talking football, does it?
Seems like there'll always be news.
Oh, there's always football to talk about. So have you guys seen this stat going around regarding Joe Burrow, of course, the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals, the losing team in the Super Bowl, okay, so the line typically is like, oh, Joe Burrow, he's young, he gets to the Super Bowl now, he'll be back. That's what people kept saying, he'll be back. But it turns out that may not be true based off of recent history. The last 16 quarterbacks to lose in their first Super Bowl appearance never made it back to the Super Bowl again.
Well, that's a depressing thing to say.
Yeah, isn't it?
Don't tell him that.
Well, it's the truth. You got to be prepared. So
unless you're Tom Brady, you're just probably never going back.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like, right? So what do we think? Should we temper our expectations with Joe Burrow? Should we stop saying he'll be back?
Well, I guess just not just Joe Burrow then, but just the Bengals.
Yeah.
Would they ever go back?
Yeah.
Would be maybe a better question.
Yeah, and I think that even is more of an indictment where it feels like, yeah, the Bengals, it's not going to happen for them.
No, you never know.
What do
They've
you think,
changed.
Isaiah?
Do I think Joe Burrow will ever go back to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Never.
Never?
0%
So
chance.
mean.
And why do you say that?
I think that Joe Burrow won't go back to the Super Bowl because the Bengals, I just don't think their franchise as a whole is going to be able to put a team together that's going to be able to go back. Because right now, it was super, super easy for them to put talent on the roster. Why? Joe Burrow's on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
2 years from
Cheap
now, he's going to
contract.
get a huge contract. All of his weapons, you're going to have to pick one. You can't have Jamar Chase. You can't have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. You can't have Joe Mixon, too. Like, he's going to have to be incredible. And with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in the AFC, it's going to be a much tougher road for him to get back. And it's so hard to get to the Super Bowl. There's so many teams that make it there. Like, look at Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons a couple of years ago. Their offense was incredible. They looked so good. Where have they been the past couple of years? Not even close.
So are you saying going to the Super Bowl changes you and the team then after, and you just can't get back to that?
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. I think it makes it, once Joe gets his contract, it's gonna be so hard for them to put together a team.
Yeah.
And the Bengals, year in, year out, haven't been a team that have put together very great teams in the past. So I just don't see them in the future being able to manipulate the roster in a way that'll be able to get them in a place where they can go back.
Yeah, definitely for the Bengals, it really makes it even more unlikely because, one, they're in a tough division just with the Steelers and Ravens, routinely well-run organizations, and the Browns seem to be improving a lot, where obviously the Bengals improved a lot this year, but historically not well run, and nobody would argue that. Even the biggest Bengals fan would be like, I'm a fan of the team, but their owner sucks and everything. So that's not working in Joe Burrow's favor, and so he's got a lot of tough people to overcome. I think what's unique about Joe Burrow, if you look back at the list of these last 16 guys, which goes back all the way to possibly the 80s, I don't know, it must have been early 90s. So it's been a long time since anybody has gone to the Super Bowl for the first time, lost, and then gotten back. But if you look at the list of names, the majority of them, even when they got to the Super Bowl, weren't young guys, like they got to it later in their career, or they weren't guys that were considered like really, like they weren't considered the same amount of talent and had
The
previous
caliber
success
that he
like
is?
Joe Burrow has.
I gotcha.
So that's working in his favor, but it is true that he's probably going to have to leave Cincinnati if he wants to get back to a Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, though, can't we just enjoy that they had a really good season?
No, you
and
can't.
Almost won the Super Bowl.
It was great. It was a great year.
You could enjoy that before you start bringing out, well, you'll never do it again.
Do you
least
think
they
Joe
made
Burrow you think Joe Burrow's thinking like, hey, I had a great year?
I think he's taking the week off
You
to think
think?
about anything, and then he'll get back to it
He's
later.
relaxing for a little bit.
He's
I think
just-
Bengals fans should be very, very happy, and hopefully they live this up because you just never know when you'll get back. I mean, even great quarterbacks have made it to one and never been able to get back again. How many has Aaron Rodgers been to?
That's right. So sometimes even the best quarterback in the game, and he doesn't have a great team around him. He struggles.
2 is better than 1. Unless we're talking about The Riot. The Riot, RadioU.
Coming up this summer, you could catch the Dungeons and Dragons inspired musical.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Broadway or
Off Broadway.
off Broadway?
Yeah, not even Broadway.
Technically,
Hasn't made it there yet.
even if you're just like singing at home, doesn't that count as off Broadway?
I guess that's true. I guess unless you live on Broadway.
No, this is off Broadway.
Yeah, this is it's coming to Off Broadway, but in New York City, it looks like. It's called Here There Be Dragons, a new musical quest. And it is a musical based all about a group of friends embarking on their final Dungeons and Dragons quest together before they graduate college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
and it's a musical.
It is a actual musical. The orchestration is by a guy named Scott Wasserman, who apparently did orchestration for Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen, which I've heard of. So this is serious. This is a serious musical about Dungeons and Dragons.
So they'll contend with their anxieties, fears, obstacles, manifested as fantasy monsters, and discover what their future may hold, is what they're saying
This
about
sounds not really great.
it. Well, you hate musicals no matter what.
I hate musicals and I hate things with fairies and dragons.
That's
so
the worst.
This is all the things that I can't stand.
This seems like just the worst thing you could possibly combine together and
This
give to Hudson.
was created in a lab
Yeah.
to upset me.
Well, is there any
fortunately, I'll be
musical
able to
then that
avoid
you
it.
enjoy?
Usually, if it's like an ironic musical,
Okay, not like the classic ones.
or you know what a musical I can get behind. Most musicals with the Muppets.
Muppets.
I can do that. I can do a
Wow.
Muppet musical.
All right,
That's about as far as I'll go.
that's entry level, and
Yeah.
that's fine. You're just not into anything else.
Yeah. I mean, I give them a shot sometimes. I think I've mentioned this before, but I turned on, because Tick, Tick, Boom.
Mm-hmm.
That's the new one about the guy who wrote Rent and it's on Netflix and it's up for some Oscars. And so I tried turning that on and I made it not through the first song.
No, that was it.
The first song,
You're out.
partway through, I was like, this is rough.
Well,
I can't do this. This is not my style.
You don't have to see this, but Here There Be Dragons. They're premiering that June 16th, and it runs through July 17th.
It's odd. I know it's not for me, but I also can't picture the person that it is for besides the people who actually wrote it, because obviously they like Dungeons and Dragons and musicals. But other than that, I don't know that the Venn diagram
Is enough people?
of Dungeons and Dragons people and musical people crosses over that much.
Well, that's why it's off Broadway, and it's
Yeah.
a limited run. So they're
Yeah.
just hoping that enough think like them and would enjoy that.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
Fake cheating sites are causing havoc. I don't mean the ones that are like lonely singles in your area. I mean
not that type of
not
cheating?
that type of cheating. We're talking about cheating on tests, cheating like especially for remote students.
Yeah.
It is causing issues. You ever heard of something called Honor Lock?
I have not.
Honor Lock is used by over 300 educational institutions, including several major universities around the U.S. And what Honor Lock does is it will, one, tap into students' webcams during tests.
Now, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, so where we'll see if you're using your phone or stuff like that to possibly cheat on an exam.
Because all you have to do is just, go on TikTok and you'll find lots of workarounds.
Yeah, right.
On how to do that. But it is shocking how they can use technology
Yeah,
to
isn't that
try
crazy?
to watch if you're cheating on your exams.
So not only can it does it do that, it also they found there are several honeypot sites out there. The type of sites that if you look up, like trying to cheat on whatever the exam is, the sites will come up and it seems to have the answers, but
They're not
just
the
going onto
answers.
those sites will alert the institution that's giving your exam. And so by that, they will let them know that you're cheating as well.
So you need to look up Honor Lock to find out if where you go to school, if it's one of their institutions that they work with.
I happen to have here a list of the 5 sites that they've that have been identified as the fake sites that will report you if you're cheating. Examequip.com, buzzfolder.com, gradepack.com, quizlookup.com, and wikicram.com.
Those are active ones, but they're not ones that you want to actually use.
Yeah, you don't want to go find your answers for your test from there. Can I tell you something?
What? You cheat a lot? Is that it?
Well, you might think that from my opinion on this, that I don't think cheating is that bad.
I think it depends on certain tests.
Yeah.
Because, if you're going to be a doctor, or, this is a lawyer thing, or something that maybe it's a very important test towards you and your career.
Right.
Well, you don't want to cheat on that.
Right.
But
I think
it's not as important in the big picture.
I think that now I think there's a difference between cheating and plagiarism.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like if you're taking a written test and you copy that, you're copying your answers for that, obviously that's not okay. Or maybe it's not obvious, but it's not okay. Don't do that. But I think if it's a test
sure.
where you're just like, for the example here is, in which part of the digestive system does chemical digestion take place? I think if you can look that up and find that answer during a test, I think that shows problem-solving capabilities.
Skills?
Yeah. What difference? I think what difference does it make if you look up the answer or if you just know the answer? In fact, maybe looking up the answer could be better because then you're getting if you know where to get the answer where it will be correct.
Yeah.
Instead of just memorizing something in your head that your brain could be flawed.
Well,
you could have memorized incorrectly.
There's some gray areas.
Yeah.
And especially if it's just your work and they don't want you cheating on that.
Yeah.
But for me, I never was one to want to talk to the teachers if I had a question.
Yeah.
So, and if you're doing this remotely, it's even harder to connect with your teacher or your professor. So, we're wishy-washy on this.
I think so. I think if you can look it up, I think that's like, who cares how you get the answer? As long as you've got the right answer.
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Okay, we've got a test we've got to take here. Or
Are
we're
we
going to
on it?
No, we're administering the test, I guess.
Okay, gotcha.
So take a listen to this. This is, I don't know how much I want to tell you about this, but just
listen first.
Yeah, listen to this voice. Tell me your impressions of it.
Hi there. I'm not really sure how to start this.
It's weird.
I wanted to talk to you about something.
I can't help but close my
Something
eyes.
we're all looking for.
I feel like I'm
want
at
to talk about
Epcot.
love.
I feel like I'm in trouble.
I get
Something
it.
I wanted to
It's
talk
kinda
to you
awkward.
about.
How do you connect with another person?
Is this a dating thing?
Finding that common wavelength?
It does sound like a Match.com
reconnecting.
commercial or something, doesn't it?
A connection that could turn into love?
Love.
What could I do to make you fall in love with me?
Stop it. Enough. Okay, we get it.
It goes on for another 2 minutes.
It's
or
cringy.
something.
We got it.
Cringy's the right word.
So,
Cringy,
what is
calming.
it?
you think you could fall in love with that voice?
The voice?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'd have to know what it's about before we want to see what that all is.
Yeah, but it didn't win you over.
No, not
He
so
was
much.
talking too slow. We'd never get through a conversation.
It was something ominous about it, wasn't it?
I think that's the music behind it.
You're right.
If
It
you were
is.
actually just hearing her talking, that would be different.
It does kind of sound like with that music, like you're about to be put down or something. you
No,
know?
I feel like you're about ready to talk to the doctor. It's like a medical commercial.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, what that actually was, believe it or not, that is an AI generated voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah, but it sounded real, right? Like you thought that was a real
did.
person.
I thought it was a real person, yeah.
It is. That is
Real
100%.
uncomfortable.
That
Real
is,
weirdo.
An AI generated voice.
Did you say weirdo?
A real weirdo.
It is generated by a company called Sonantic.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Sonantic, they're an AI voice startup, and they think they made a real breakthrough in their development because, a lot of times, especially Like sometimes you can be fooled if you call like a bank or whatever, and they have one of those automatic generated voices, and it can almost sound real, but there's a few things that give it away because it doesn't have like emotion behind it.
You need to go down more, like when you pull up to the fast food place in the restaurant.
Oh, I saw the one for Checkers, the TikTok for Checkers.
Well, it has an automated start off verse, like voice.
I hate that thing.
And then you're like, well, and then you do your order and it's someone completely different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that one's tough because it's usually like a person that records it.
Yes.
And then you get a different person. You're like, no. And then
Would you like to try this new thing? No. And then it's like, I might take your order.
Yeah, somebody completely different. But
so this is a development. This is called audio deep fake. So similar to like, if you see a fake, like a celebrity person's face.
Yeah.
But it's on top. It's just not
Somebody
actually
else's
them.
body, yeah.
This would be an audio version.
So they have figured out a way, they say, to make it sound a lot more
Human.
to add a lot more emotion to it. Yeah, a lot more human by, they say the key is kind of not actually the actual words the person is saying, but like some of the stuff they do between the words, some of the way they take breaths and some of the like sounds that you really can't hear, but you're interpreting them in your mind, even though you're not actually truly hearing it.
So they say tiny scoffs, half hidden chuckles, that sort of stuff is
Right.
really what will make AI generated voices sound real.
Now that was, I think that was pretty good. It was good, but
I thought it was too.
Hey, can we offer you a weekend time at RadioU now?
Oh, that'd be the worst.
Oh, man.
Deep fake DJs.
Yeah, you're like, could you fill in for me next week? Thank you so much. It might be weird for you guys, but I think she'll do great.
Should be awesome.
I don't know. She talks a little slow for radio.
Yeah, we can speed
can
her
speed
up.
her up a little bit.
Right, I
Yeah.
guess it is all fake, but that was the thing is though, like that sounded really good, really realistic. However, they were kind of going for like a more flirty type of sound with that, and I don't like that. Didn't sound flirty.
Well, maybe again with the music removed.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure.
yeah, that
either.
wasn't flirty music, was it? Not a lot of fun about that piano. That's
No, like
sounds
the waves crashing in the
sounds
background.
like you're about to get really bad news. So, but it's a little
Hey.
scary in a way, isn't it?
It's flirty bad news, all right?
right.
It's fine.
It's bad news, but in a teasing type
A
way.
teasing way.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. The Riot, RadioU.
I was reading in Touch Weekly. You know how I like to keep up with In Touch Weekly.
I actually don't think you do.
What? Why would you say that?
Well, it just doesn't seem like it's creating content for you. And I feel like then you don't want to read anything from In Touch.
I want to read it when it's about Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that's true, actually. You do.
So the news is that Aaron Rodgers, he was engaged to Shailene. I never know how to say it. Is it Shailene or Shailene?
Anything's
That
fine.
was a joke. They were
Okay.
both the same. Shailene Woodley. They were engaged. And I say were, and I say were not because they got married. They have called it off. They're breaking up.
See, even though football's over, we're still getting all this football news,
Hey,
guys.
I was going to say this isn't football news, but it actually kind of is because part of the reason they broke up, it says while
Because he
Shailene
didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. She was disappointed just like all the rest of us. It says while Shailene is supportive of Aaron's career, he put football first. And they were barely spending any time together. Aww, isn't that tough?
Well, you can't judge that during the season.
I know, right? It's like
gotta-
you signed up for that.
Figure out afterwards.
But it is true though. I don't know how long they've been together. Maybe this was the first football season that.
No, I think I saw the article as well.
Yeah? Has it been a while?
That's all the news that they're pushing at us today.
Yeah.
I think they've been together for a few years.
It's been now that we've talked about Aaron Rodgers so much on the show, you're starting to get the algorithm is pushing you stories about.
If it's Aaron Rodgers, I'm listening because
Yeah.
I know he's your favorite.
Oh yeah, he is.
And
he
now
is
he's
my
single.
favorite. That's right. He is. He's back on the market. It says that he's an independent guy, and he got cold feet about the whole situation. So they're both adults. They were both unhappy. It sounds like. And so they decided to call it off amicably.
Sure.
So
Whenever
now he
any-
can focus even more on football, which hopefully will lead him to getting to actually the Super Bowl this time.
That's true. We don't want to have any distractions, right?
Yeah.
I like when when we read all these responses, that's been created by your press firm that runs your social media and stuff. You're like, that's not how it was.
Yeah, right. They probably got in a big fight, right?
Exactly. Like, that's not how people break up.
Yeah, it's so weird being like following Aaron Rodgers pretty closely. Following him in the news is pretty frustrating. The way that
you just want football.
I do want football. You're kind of right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem fun most of the time with him, you know? Like maybe it used to, but once like this past offseason, it became a whole lot less fun to to keep following Aaron Rodgers because there's always a spin on everything too, you know?
Well,
that you never got with other major football players.
Well, he had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe if you were following those other players, then you would start to see that too.
I think Aaron Rodgers is always talking about how he doesn't care what people think. I don't think that's true. I think he cares way too much what everybody thinks, and that's why he's always saying that he doesn't care, and that's why everything that comes out, I mean, there is a spin by the media. I think there's also even more of a spin by him and the people that he gets to push stuff for him, that it's just like he's trying to control the headlines, and it just always seems to backfire.
Well, it sounds like you know a lot about him.
Yeah. And I kind of want to unplug. I just, you know what? Is football season coming? You know what I do want? I want him to announce that he's coming back to the Packers or not.
Or moving on.
I just want to know. And then I can start focusing on whoever I'm cheering for next season.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.